This is a Kenmore 158750, and the tensioner here, the take-up spring is broken on it. This tension dial is just unscrewing completely. I don't know if this tensioner is supposed to have a stopper in it, but we got our shallow cone spring there, and this washer has a divot in it, but there's no stopper on the inside of this dial. So this dial doesn't have a stopper on this tensioner, it just goes in and out. And you can see the coil spring on this tensioner is kind of shallow, but it's wide and flat, so it can compress in on itself better. And I'm setting the parts in order as I take them out. It looks like this has been apart and the tension cup was assembled incorrectly. It's also pretty bent in the center here, so I'm going to push that down so it'll raise more fully. Okay, and there are the two tension discs here. These are really filthy, so they're going to go in the sonic cleaner. Alright, I'm going to have to get some penetrant in to loosen the set screw to get this body out. Alright, after 5 or 10 minutes of working with penetrating fluid, I got the set screw out from the side here, and that holds this main tension body in, and it is still very stuck in here, but with that loose, tug and wiggle. This body is out and the hook comes off the back, and there's the second set screw here that holds the stem in. There's actually, I'm going to have to get my little ratcheter out. This is another machine with 2 set screws on this stem. Some machines only have a single set screw and others get 2. More penetrating fluid and heat to loosen these set screws up, and that'll get the stem out so that we can get our broken spring off. I got the 2 set screws in this loose. You can see around the edge of the tensioner here, all that discoloration. That is old oil buildup, rust from the machine body, and that's why this tensioner was harder to get out. The screws are also, stuck from all the old oil and things. But with those 2 screws loose, the stem of the tensioner comes out, and our broken spring comes off. And now I'm gonna clean this off real good before I put it back, but I need a new tensioner, or a new take-up spring, and this machine is a pull-up spring. So I'm going to steal it out of this other tensioner. This tensioner is another Kenmore style tensioner. It's got this white dot in the center. There's a divider on this, and if you push this second ring down, that nut unscrews, kind of like the 401A tensioners. So disassemble this and this tensioner only has one screw holding the stem in. Alright, stem out, spring off. I'll leave all that for later. I think sometimes you can order just the springs, but since I had this tensioner around, it's good to know how to rebuild using parts from other tensioners now. There. There's the tail on the spring. We need to get that into the slot on the stem here. So I'm actually going to tug that down and get it lined up, and then there. Use the screwdriver to pull it out to go in there. And then this is the body, and this is a pull down spring, so we need to preload it for it to pull down, and that means typically I'll set these in place and get them a quarter or a third of the way from where they are going to set. And with that in place, I can tighten the two screws on the stem here, and I'm pushing the stem all the way in so that it's firmly as deep in the body as it will go. And then, alright, so there's a small problem with this, and that is that this spring, this other stem is slightly smaller than that spring. So I'm going to just that means that when the spring gets wound around the body, it grips the body of the stem. Now, yep, and these stems are significantly different. So, not going to be able to preload the spring. Gonna have to just put it in, line it up here, and then yeah, when I line it up, it has just enough room to act. So that is what we'll have to adjust this tensioner for. This hook has a pin on the back side to adjust it, so we got that in there. And then I need to clean this hole and flatten the bar in this tension cup a teeny bit, and then we'll be ready to reassemble this. So I disassembled that complete tensioner to steal a spring out of it, and you'll see the reason I can't just slop or put that new tensioner in is because the hole in this machine for the tension body is larger, so it's got a smaller body, and even if that body fit, I would need to get the tension pin out of the old, or release pin out of the old tensioner to drop in, because these are different lengths. There's a whole 1/8 inch difference in length on those pins. So if you find a tensioner, even when you find a body that fits your machine, you need to make sure that you check that pin length. Clean that hole and push that in. Now we'll reinstall the set screw holding the body in place. Teeny tap on that because I needed to flatten that in. So throw the pin in. Grab the tension discs out of the washer. So those are all squeaky clean now. And I overcompensated when I was Alright, beautiful. So that cup is lifting like it should. And we put our spring and that washer on. And because these are pot metal dials, I always put a dab of oil on the inside of these threads so that they're going to get good lubrication on that stem, and they're dissimilar metals. The stem is steel and this is a pot metal thing, so if it scratches or gets stored in a wet environment, then the bit of oil will keep that from seizing onto the post, because this machine was damaged and the pot metal feed drop lever is starting to show some wear as well. So tensioner rebuilt, and then we'll get back to take a look at the rest of this machine.